Are you spiritually bypassing? So to spiritual bypass means to grab onto a lighter or more like love and light aspect of spirituality, whether it be a practice, a belief, an idea, and you are engaging in this in an attempt to avoid some maybe heavy emotions or behaviors or things that are going on within yourself. So it's just being an avoidance of our shadow, of our darker aspects. And you see people, I see it all the time on the internet where people are like, oh, I can't meditate. I try to meditate, but my mind just keeps going and these emotions come up and I can't be with myself. I just can't sit. Well, it's because you're attempting through the meditation to bypass what's really going on inside of you instead of facing it head on and being with it. And I feel like a lot of people are being taught to bypass. I don't think they're really purposely doing it, or maybe they are unconsciously. But to bypass, it's going to lead you nowhere. It's going to put a roadblock in your healing. The only way to effectively heal and become whole within ourselves is to face not only the positive parts of ourselves, but to sit with and offer love to the not so positive parts of ourselves. If you are a person who has a lot of trauma, like, you have to sit and work through the trauma. You can't avoid the trauma by meditation and affirmations, just hoping that it's going to fall away on its own by doing positive practices. It just doesn't work like that. So the reason why it's called a shadow is because your shadow never leaves you. When the light is shining on you, it highlights your shadow. So maybe engaging in the positive practices highlights your shadow. It highlights where you need to sit with yourself. But then you need to do the work to be with those parts of yourself. You can't deflect from them. You can't repress them. You can't avoid them. It's never going to leave you. And we like to think, that if we just don't look at it, it's not there. But it couldn't be further from the truth. Your shadow is always going to be there, no matter what. So engaging in your shadow, inviting your shadow in, is the beginning of healing and integrating those darker, more dense parts of yourself, those more darker and dense emotional states and repressed emotions. And once we begin to do that work, that is really, truly the first step to healing and becoming whole. You can't be a whole person if you're only looking at a part. And so people are attempting to disown their shadows. And anytime it comes up, they think, oh no, like, oh, I'm going to sprinkle some glitter on it and make it beautiful and just pretend it's not there. Pretending it's not there does not make it go away. And your shadow is there for a reason. It is the parts of you that you have disowned, that you have repressed, that you have, out of survival, taken and placed somewhere else so that you could adapt to or survive certain environments or certain relationships. There are emotions, excuse me, that you have repressed that are waiting to be seen, to be felt, to be understood. And they're not going anywhere. They keep knocking. And if you continue to avoid these parts of yourself, it just gets louder. It just gets denser. It just gets harder to avoid. And if you still continue to avoid these parts of yourself, they will show up as mental health issues. They will show up as physical health issues. They will show up in any way possible to get your attention. And so true healing begins in engaging these parts of us instead of denying them. Let's say you struggle with addiction. Addiction is a manifestation of repression. You struggle with addiction and you are in total denial that you have a problem. Well, if you stay in denial that you have a problem, you are never going to face the problem, address the addiction, and be free of it. Well, the same thing goes with our repressed emotions and the darker parts of ourselves. If you stay in denial that they exist, you rid yourself of the ability to heal. My lights are flashing right now. Confirmation. The only way out is through. And so the terrible news is you're going to have to go through that pain, that sadness, that grief, that anger. You are going to have to resurrect the parts of you that you have laid to rest in order to survive certain environments or situations. And they're not evil. They're not bad. They're just parts of you that want your attention. If I was to take a peanut butter jelly sandwich and I was to go, okay, well, this part of it's ugly, this part of it is no good, this part of it is not perfect, and so I'm going to place all of these parts over here in the trash, and here's what's left of the peanut butter jelly sandwich. If it's sitting there in front of you and I'm like, okay, now I want that peanut butter and jelly sandwich to be whole. Well, you've cut off and dissected all of these parts of this peanut butter jelly sandwich. It can't be whole without the pieces that you threw away. There's no way to make it whole without the missing pieces. And so those pieces of you, those parts of you that you have disowned, maybe as a child, maybe people told you you talk too much or you're just too much. And so you took a part of your personality and you threw it behind you. And you disowned that part of you in an attempt to please other people. That part of you didn't leave. It didn't disappear. It's just hanging out behind you, and it becomes your shadow. So that part of you is hanging out back there going, hey, I'm still over here. I'm who you really are. You can avoid me all you want. You can ignore me. You can pretend I don't exist, but I'm back here. And then as you go through life, maybe somebody tells you you're too little of something else. And so you're trying to meet a standard that it's not who you are. Maybe somebody says you're not adventurous enough, and maybe you're more introverted. But in an attempt to please other people, you become extremely extroverted. You're pushing yourself to be or do things that are outside of your own true nature in an attempt to gain validation or likes from other people. And so you have denied that introverted part of yourself. You have thrown it behind you and disowned it. And so it's like, hey, I'm who you really are. I'm the you that likes to sit at home and read books. I'm the you that likes to bake cookies and listen to music or dance in the living room alone. I'm the you who likes to be alone. But you've disowned me, and now you've shaped yourself into something that you're not. And so these parts of us begin to gather throughout our life, and they become our shadow. Now, the other part of our shadow is the repressed emotions. It is the grief that we were not allowed to express, or the anger that we were not allowed to express as a child. And so we were told, oh, it's bad to be angry. Don't you take that tone with me. Don't you get angry or upset, or maybe you are punished for showing anger as a child because it was an inconvenience to the people around you, or they labeled it disobedience. So anytime you became angry, you would grab that anger and you would throw it behind you. No, this is unacceptable. I'm not good if I'm angry. People will not accept me if I'm angry. And so you learned every single time you were angry, you threw it behind you. Well, it's still there, hanging out. Eventually, and I call it the backpack. Eventually your backpack fills up. Eventually your backpack is too full. Eventually your backpack starts to spill out over into your being, and it's going, hey, I need your attention. No more bypassing, no more ignoring me or avoiding me. So it starts to manifest as mental health issues, physical health issues, symptoms in your body. We like to label disease as, like, oh, it has to do with your diet and your exercise. And while these things are important, The word itself explains everything you need to know. It's dis-ease. Well, if you have collectively throughout your entire life taken pieces of yourself and threw it behind you and disowned who you truly really are, do you think that your psyche is at ease inside of you? No, you are not at ease. You have built a persona around pleasing other people, around perfectionism, around validation, around becoming someone that you are not, around an ego. And disowned who you truly are. And so your true self is like, hey, I'm going to get your attention one way or another. And that's what disease is. Illness is a bit of a journey if we engage it back to who we truly are. And once we integrate our shadow and integrate all of these parts of ourselves that we have disowned, we heal. We heal physically, mentally, spiritually. We come back to who we truly are in our heart, and then our heart can shine once again. And so spiritual bypassing is what you've been doing until now. More than likely unconsciously, but also consciously at times. If you sit down to meditate and you are just all over the place, it's because something inside of you is asking to be listened to. It is asking to be felt. It is asking to be embraced. And so what you do is, while you are in that quiet space, while you are attempting to meditate, connect with it, engage it. Go, okay, I'm listening now. I am allowing whatever I'm feeling in my body to be here, and offer it love, offer it kindness, not judgment. Don't disown it. Don't go, oh, this is bad, I shouldn't be feeling this, or I shouldn't be thinking this way, or whatever it might be. Allow it to be there with love, no matter what it is, unconditionally. Because there is a little inner child, there is a little child inside of you that has been trying to carry all the weight of all of these parts of you, all of the trauma, all of the repressed emotions, and it's like, no more. Like, I need love. Offer love to that part of yourself. Offer love to that shadowy aspect, that's coming up inside of you, and engage it in a positive way. God said to love your enemies. When he says this, oftentimes we think physical enemies, but I don't think anyone physically really is our enemy. Our enemies, we make enemies with those parts of ourselves, and we make enemies with those emotions, and we call them demons, and we label them as evil. And when we fight against them, we are just giving them strength. To love your enemy, to offer love to anything that is coming up against you, anything that triggers pain or discomfort, and this can be inside of you. So to love those parts of yourself, it's like God loving a demon and it turning into an angel. Because you can't, it's almost like you can't fight fire with fire. If you feel that something is like negative, like going on inside of you, oh my God, there's this negative thing, and maybe it's repressed rage or anger, and you lash out at people, and because of that you've become more like introverted, and then now you have addictions and you're trying to run from yourself and you don't know what's going on with you, you're gonna feel like, oh my God, like there's a demon that I just can't overcome. And it's not that you need to overcome it. You don't need to fight it. You need to love it away. When you offer love to a demon, it flees. When you offer love to those parts of yourself, or those emotions, or those thoughts, whatever it might be, those physical symptoms, and you allow whatever's there to come up into your awareness, you are now shedding light on it. and you are neutralizing it. So from a neutral space, a loving space, you are inviting those things in and you are shining light on them. When you shine light into the darkness, what happens? Everything's illuminated. There's no more darkness. And so you have to be that light, and you have to be that love, and you have to offer that up to those parts of yourself in order to heal and to integrate your shadowy aspects, because without it, you are not whole. So stop spiritual bypassing. You cannot sit there with all of this inside of you and sprinkle glitter on it and call it good. It doesn't work like that. Engage those parts of you with love and watch how your healing unfolds.